The metal hit the floor. At exactly 9 seconds. The war hero was on his knees, and Bruce Lee's hand was still on his wrist. Nobody was supposed to see this. Fort Irwin, California. Military training facility 40 miles northeast of Barstow. August 1972. Midday heat pushing past 105 degrees, the kind of desert sun that makes the air shimmer and men squint even wearing sunglasses. Bruce Lee wasn't supposed to be there. He was 3 weeks into filming a project with Golden Harvest, some preliminary fight choreography that needed desert landscapes and military cooperation. The studio had arranged access to the base for background shots, barracks, vehicles, that authentic military atmosphere Hong Kong films craved. He'd come with a small crew. Director. Cinematographer. 2 assistants. They were setting up equipment near the vehicle depot when the challenge came. The soldier's name was Staff Sergeant Michael Reeves. 38 years old. 2 tours in Vietnam. Bronze Star recipient. Decorated marksman. Hand-to-hand combat instructor for incoming recruits. He stood 6'2", weighed 220, had shoulders like a linebacker and hands that looked like they could crush walnuts. He'd been watching Bruce work through some movement sequences for the camera, fluid, precise, that signature efficiency of motion that looked almost too smooth to be effective. Reeves had seen plenty of martial arts demonstrations. He respected the discipline. But he'd also seen real combat. Men who moved pretty in demonstrations and froze when bullets started flying. "That movie Kung Fu?" Reeves said, loud enough for Bruce to hear, loud enough for the 30 soldiers who'd gathered to watch the filming. "Looks nice. Real pretty. But I'm wondering how it works against someone who actually fights back." Bruce stopped mid-movement. Turned slowly. Looked at Reeves without expression. The crew tensed. This wasn't the first time someone had challenged Bruce. Probably wouldn't be the last. But doing it on a military base, surrounded by soldiers, with a decorated combat veteran, that was new territory. "You're welcome to find out," Bruce said quietly. Not aggressive. Not defensive. Just factual. Reeves smiled. Not mean. Not mocking. The smile of a man who'd been in enough real situations to know the difference between demonstration and application. No disrespect meant. But yeah, I'd like to see how that works under actual resistance. Bruce didn't raise his voice. He didn't have to. The soldiers formed a loose circle. Not officially. Just the natural gravity of men sensing something was about to happen. The film crew stopped setting up equipment. The director, a Hong Kong veteran who'd seen Bruce handle these situations before, just stepped back and watched. Reeves rolled his shoulders, loosening up. "Ground rules? Your rules," Bruce said. "You're the combat instructor. No strikes to the face. No eye gouging. No groin shots. First man to submit or get controlled for more than 3 seconds loses. That work?" Bruce nodded once. They faced each other in the dust. Reeves dropped into a wrestler's stance, low, balanced, hands forward. The stance of someone who'd grappled hundreds of times, who knew how to use superior size and strength. Bruce stood upright, hands at his sides. Relaxed. Almost casual. To anyone watching who didn't know better, it looked like a mismatch. Reeves outweighed Bruce by 50 pounds. Had 6 inches of reach. Military combat training. Real battlefield experience. But there were 3 people in that circle who did know better. The film director had seen Bruce move. And 2 of the watching soldiers. Younger guys, early 20s, had actually trained in martial arts before enlisting. They recognized what Reeves clearly didn't. Bruce wasn't standing casually. He was standing centered. Rooted. Every muscle in a state of relaxed readiness that looked like nothing until it became everything. "Ready when you are," Reeves said. Bruce didn't respond. Just waited. Reeves moved first. Fast for a big man. He shot forward, going for a double-leg takedown. The kind of explosive entry that had worked for him in dozens of training scenarios. Get inside, get low, drive through, take the smaller man to the ground where weight becomes advantage. Second 1. Bruce's left hand moved. Not fast in the way people expect martial arts to be fast. Not a blur of motion. Just instant repositioning. His hand met Reeves's reaching arm at the wrist, not grabbing, just touching, redirecting the angle maybe 5 degrees. 5 degrees was all it took. Reeves's momentum carried him past Bruce instead of through him. Not dramatically. Just enough. His hand found air instead of leg. Second 2. Bruce's right hand came up. Again, not a strike. A placement. His fingers found a specific point on Reeves's extended wrist, the nerve cluster where tendons meet bone, where pressure creates not pain but instant confusion in the nervous system. Reeves felt his grip strength disappear. Not hurt. Just gone. His fingers opened involuntarily. Second 3. Bruce rotated Reeves's wrist. Maybe 20 degrees. Maybe less. Just enough to change the angle of the joint, to make Reeves's arm argue with his own shoulder about which direction was safe. Reeves's body followed the wrist. Not because Bruce pulled. Because the alternative was structural damage. Second 4. Reeves was already adjusting his stance, trying to post with his free hand, trying to use his weight advantage. He was good. Well trained. But he was fighting against principles. Leverage, angles, timing, not against muscle. Second 5. Bruce took one small step. Repositioned his own body weight. Still holding that wrist. Still applying that specific pressure. Reeves's balance started tilting. Not a throw. Not a sweep. Just the inevitable result of compromised structure. Subscribe and leave a comment, because the most important part of this story is still unfolding. Second 6. Reeves tried to pull back. Used his size. Used his strength. Bruce's grip didn't tighten. It didn't need to. He'd found the point where effort became counterproductive. Where Reeves's own resistance created the problem. Second 7. The knee touched down. Reeves's right knee. Not from pain. Not from a throw. From the simple geometric fact that his center of gravity had been moved outside his base of support. He was being lowered. Controlled. Not hurt. Not thrown. Just placed. Second 8. Reeves's free hand went to the ground. Posting. Trying to stabilize. He was breathing hard now, not from exertion but from the cognitive dissonance of a body that wouldn't respond the way 38 years of living had taught it to respond. Second 9. The medal fell. It had been pinned to Reeves's uniform shirt, bronze star with V device, earned in the Central Highlands in 1968 for actions he still had nightmares about. The pin had worked loose during the movement. Or maybe Reeves's own hand had brushed it while trying to post. It hit the dust with a small metallic sound. Lay there catching the harsh sunlight. Bruce Lee's hand was still on Reeves's wrist. Not squeezing. Not cranking. Just maintaining that specific point of control. The circle of soldiers was completely silent. Bruce released the wrist. Stepped back. Extended his hand to help Reeves up. Reeves stared at him for a long moment. Then at his own hand, the one that had lost its strength for no reason he could identify. Then at the metal in the dust. He took Bruce's hand. Let himself be pulled up. Brushed off his uniform. What? Reeves started then stopped. Started again. What the hell did you just do to my wrist? Showed you where the handle is, Bruce said quietly. Every body has them. Places where small pressure creates large response. You're strong. Well trained. But strength without awareness of structure is just effort. Reeves bent down and picked up his medal. Looked at it. The small rectangle of metal and ribbon that represented the worst and best moment of his life. He charged a machine gun nest to pull out 3 wounded men. He'd earned this. and it had just fallen in the dust while a man 50 pounds lighter put him on his knees without breaking a sweat. "I need to learn that," Reeves said. Not asking. Stating. Away from the cameras, Bruce made a choice no one expected. The film crew wanted to keep shooting. Schedule was tight. They had maybe 2 hours of good light left. The director was gesturing to Bruce, pointing at the equipment, at the sun. Bruce ignored him. Turned to Reeves. "You free this afternoon? I'm supposed to run recruits through hand-to-hand at 1400. Mind if I watch?" Reeves blinked. "You want to watch me teach? I want to see what you're teaching them. Then maybe we talk about handles." 3 hours later, Bruce Lee was in a military training hall watching Staff Sergeant Reeves put 20 recruits through basic combatives. Strikes. Grappling. Knife defense. It was solid instruction, practical, efficient, focused on survival rather than sport. When the session ended, Reeves dismissed the recruits. Turned to Bruce. "Honest assessment? You're teaching them to survive," Bruce said. "That's good. But you're teaching them to fight the enemy they expect. What about the enemy that moves different? Thinks different? Like you? Like anyone who's absorbed what works and rejected what doesn't. Your system is built for certain assumptions. Certain ranges. Certain timings. What happens when someone operates outside those assumptions?" Reeves thought about 9 seconds in the dust. "They find the handle. They find the handle," Bruce confirmed. "They talked for 2 hours. About principles versus techniques. About rigidity versus adaptability. About the difference between practicing to perfect a form and practicing to express yourself honestly in chaos." Reeves pulled out a notebook, the kind military men carry, green canvas cover, pages filled with training notes and range scores and tactical observations. He started writing. Not copying techniques. Copying concepts. "Water," Bruce said at one point, and Reeves wrote it down. "You know what water does better than anything?" "Adapts," Reeves said. "Adapts. Takes the shape of whatever contains it. Flows around obstacles. Soft to touch but unstoppable over time. That's what I'm trying to be. Not the hardest. Not the fastest. The most adaptive. The most honest." Reeves looked up from his notebook. "The most honest? Fighting is honest," Bruce said. "It reveals what works and what doesn't. No bullshit. No politics. No pretending. You either move correctly or you don't. You either understand structure or you don't. The body doesn't lie." But what followed would stay with everyone who witnessed it, forever. The next morning, Bruce came back to Fort Irwin. Not to film. Not for publicity. He came back to train with Reeves. They spent 4 hours in that training hall. Just the two of them. No cameras. No audience. Reeves would try something, a grab, a hold, an entry, and Bruce would show him the handle. Where to touch. What angle to use. How to make a larger opponent's structure work against itself. It wasn't teaching in the traditional sense. It was transmission. Two practitioners sharing knowledge without ego. Reeves would show Bruce military combatives principles, brutal, efficient, designed for life or death urgency. Bruce would show Reeves refinements, the tiny adjustments that turn force into precision. By noon, Reeves could feel the handles. Not see them. Feel them. That subtle shift in awareness where the body stops being a mystery and becomes a map. "I'm going to teach this," Reeves said, hands on his knees, breathing hard. "To the recruits. Not to make them kung fu fighters, but to make them aware. To show them that there's always a handle. Always a way to move that requires less effort and creates more effect." Bruce smiled. Actually smiled. "That's it. That's exactly it. Absorb what is useful. Reject what is useless. Add what is specifically your own. Don't teach them my way. Teach them the principle. Let them find their own expression." They shook hands. Reeves walked Bruce back to where the film crew was loading equipment. "The medal," Bruce said, stopping. "I didn't mean for that to fall." "I know," Reeves said. He pulled the Bronze Star from his pocket. He'd removed it from his uniform that morning. "I've been wearing this for 4 years. Reminder of what I survived. What I earned." He looked at it, then at Bruce. "But yesterday it fell in the dust. And I realized something. Real honor isn't what you pin on your chest. It's what you're willing to learn when someone shows you a better way." He handed the medal to Bruce. "Keep it. Not as a trophy. As a reminder. You showed me in 9 seconds what 4 years of combat couldn't teach me, that control is stronger than force." Bruce tried to hand it back. "This is yours. You earned this. And yesterday you earned my respect," Reeves said. "The medal stays with you." 20 years later, long after Bruce Lee's death, Staff Sergeant Michael Reeves, by then a retired colonel, was interviewed about his military career. The interviewer asked about his proudest moment. Reeves didn't mention Vietnam. Didn't mention his Bronze Star. He mentioned 9 seconds in the dust with a man who showed him handles instead of hurting him. Share and subscribe. Some stories deserve to be remembered. The medal is still in the Lee family archive. Bruce carried it with him until the day he died. Not as a trophy. As a reminder that the greatest victories don't require defeating someone. They require teaching them.